What's up, guys? My name is DBC, and we're here to talk about Reincarnated as a Sword episode 2. So, it's a good episode. Not much necessarily happened, but I definitely enjoyed that. So, I'm not exactly sure what I can say about this episode, but I guess we can talk about it a little bit. We look at the beginning where our character Fran and the sword, they're just fighting off these weak little monsters, just gaining EXP or whatever. They're getting themselves a little stronger. Yeah, we're just trying to refine our skills. Not really much can be said about that. But then these adventurers, they get attacked, and Fran comes and saves them. That's all I can really say there. But that at least leads us to our next part, where we go to a guild, because Fran seems a little bit interested in this guild stuff and adventuring stuff. So yeah, we get to go to the guild, and she's going to register herself in the guild. But one thing I will say is that Fran is definitely getting a lot stronger. She's able to do attacks on her own, and with minimal support from her sword, she can actually kind of handle herself, which is somewhat good. But she still is going to need to use her sword. And another thing that I thought was interesting, that the sword was analyzing the weapons of the other adventurers, and and he was noticing that his attack potency is not nearly as high as some of the adventurers' weapons. So he's kind of like, well, no, there's weapons that are stronger than I am, but you know what? Those weapons probably can't level up the same way that he can, and he can also use skills. So, I mean, that makes sense. So, the sword is still technically really OP. He just doesn't have as much attack as some of the other swords. But yeah, we get to go to the guild, and the people in that guild that are just sitting down, they're just a bunch of scumbags, I'm gonna be honest with you. None of those people are particularly likable. A lot of grunts, as you'd call it, a bunch of bullies. But we'll talk about those people later. Fran goes and talks to the lady with the glasses, and she basically sets her up to do the guild exam or whatever you would call it. And yeah, she gets to fight off against this ogre. And let's be real, she did not really have that much of a challenge, especially with the sword helping her. I mean, with the sword's help, I mean, it was just really easy. Like, there was no way that she was going to lose with her getting all the buffs and the sword casting all the magic, and with her actual skills as well, because she's not that weak by herself. She was able to dodge the guy's attacks. Maybe she needed a little bit of help from the sword, but she managed to beat that ogre pretty well, and that ogre seemed pretty powerful. He could even self-heal or whatever. So yeah, but now there's a lot of eyes on Fran, because now they're thinking, wait a minute, you can't cast magic without saying anything. And it's like, well, you can't cast magic and attack at the same time like that. And it's like kind of weird and obscure. And she's hiding her powers as well. So she has a lot of eyes on her, and the sword is telling her, you gotta hide the powers and don't let people know that we can talk to each other, because that would be really bad. I mean, yeah, of course it would. Of course it would be really bad, but yeah. So yeah, she beats the ogre and she gets her guild card. Though I'll be honest with you, I don't think she necessarily needed to beat the ogre, because if that's the case, I can't imagine how weaker adventurers would manage to get their guild card. But I guess she got a harder test for her, and she still managed to beat the ogre really easily. So yeah, she gets her guild card, she registers, and she becomes a sword mage, which is definitely a fitting title for her, I suppose, or a fitting class for her, as she uses her magic and sword attacks. That's good. So yeah, I can definitely see Fran. She's getting really powerful, and I do actually want her to evolve. That's what all she's been wanting, is to evolve. So that would be cool. I definitely want to see her on her goal. She's already halfway there, it feels like, but we will see though. And I suppose we should talk a little bit about those bullies and grunts. I'll tell you right now, I've never been a big fan of bullies, so I'm gonna tell you right now, they got exactly what they deserve from this. And yeah, they tried to pick with Fran. She got her money, and she was leaving. Yeah, they came to attack her. They were trying to just bully and harass her. No, I never am a big fan of that. And you know what? She gave them the punishment they needed. Akainu, I mean, if only we could do this for Akainu in One Piece, but Akainu got um, he got his little legs ripped off, and the rest of them just got punched and knocked out. And I mean, probably they deserved a little bit more, but you know what? It is what it is. She beat them really easily, no trouble, even though they were picking on her and they're like, oh, you're a weak black cat and you're the weakest species of all, and she just beat them really easily without any help from her sword. So she's not necessarily all that weak. But I mean, it's not like she was fighting super strong characters, but I mean, hey, she beat the bullies. That's good. That was probably the most satisfying part of this episode, so yeah. And at the end of the episode, we have this guy, I'm assuming a dwarf, or some kind of person that makes weapons, and he's appraising the weapon. He's actually like, ooh, intelligent weapon. And it's like, okay, that's where we end off the episode. So that's interesting. I'm kind of curious what we're going to get out of that. But this episode, it was an alright episode. I don't think it was as good as the first episode, but I don't necessarily have anything to complain about. While I don't think it was necessarily the best episode ever, I still thought it was entertaining, and at the end of the day, I think entertainment is basically what I'm looking for when it comes to anime, so it did a good job with that. I'm not going to complain. It was still good. But yeah, guys, that's all I had to say about this episode. My name is DVC, and if you guys haven't done so already, I want you guys to hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be doing reviews for this anime and other anime such as Mob Psycho, My Hero Academia, Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, and other anime as well. And I'm also going to be doing anime music covers, so you guys should definitely stay tuned for that. And also, don't forget to hit that like button because I'd really appreciate that, and it would also help me out a lot. Thank you guys. I'm signing out.